All right, so today we're jumping into a fantastic classic tale. It's all about pride, about learning to accept yourself, and, well, it's about a truly unbelievable mustache. This is the story of Seth G and the Magical Golden Mustache. So let's kick things off with this little verse because it really sets the stage perfectly. It's about a guy whose whole sense of self-worth is wrapped up in his appearance, and the journey he's about to take from that false pride to some real honest-to-goodness understanding. Okay, so first, let's meet our main guy, Seth G. Now, by all accounts, he's a decent fella. He's a milkman, but he's got this one deep, nagging insecurity that just messes with his head all the time. Every single morning, it's the same old story. He gets up, he looks in the mirror, and his eyes go right to those little sparse patches in his mustache. And you can just feel that wave of disappointment hit him. It's how he starts every day. And this is where it gets kind of toxic. See, his employee shows up for work, and the first thing Seth G zones in on is the guy's mustache. It's full, it's thick, it's basically everything he wishes his was. He's just so consumed by this envy that he totally lashes out, telling the poor guy to either shave it off or not bother coming back to work. You know, when you want something that badly, you become pretty vulnerable. And that deep desire for a better mustache makes Seth Jaw the absolute perfect target for some really, really bad advice. So, while he's out on his milk route, he bumps into a villager named Manohar who has this seriously impressive mustache. Seth G just has to ask him, what's the secret? And Manohar, who, by the way, just needs some extra milk for guests, basically makes up a lie on the spot. He says his amazing mustache comes from a special milk drinking routine. And this right here just shows you how desperate Seth G was. He actually commits to this totally absurd plan, drinking 4 liters of milk every single day. He's forcing it down, feeling bloated and just awful, all for the sake of his pride. But all that effort just leads to total humiliation. One night, he overhears Manohar and some other villagers just openly making fun of him, laughing about how he fell for such a ridiculous story. I mean, can you imagine? The shame is just crushing. He runs home in tears, feeling worse than ever. So after hitting absolute rock bottom, something truly unbelievable happens. But you know what they say, be careful what you wish for because you might just get it. He wakes up from this awful, tear-filled sleep, and there's this strange tickling sensation on his face. He goes to the mirror, and wow, just wow. He literally can't believe his eyes. Overnight, his wildest dream didn't just come true, it came true in the most spectacular way possible. And what's the first thing he does? He shows it off, of course. His immediate reaction is just pure, unfiltered pride. He twists this magnificent golden mustache into these elaborate coils on top of his head and struts right through the village, just soaking in everyone's shocked faces, especially a completely dumbfounded Manahar. But yeah, that dream, it turns into a total nightmare fast. The mustache is a disaster. It's dipping into his milk pails. A cow steps on it and he goes flying. He's constantly tripping over it. He even tries to cut it, but it just instantly grows right back. The constant weight and pulling is making his whole face swell up. And then you get the moment that just breaks everything. The final straw. Someone finds a single golden hair from his glorious mustache in the milk he delivered. That's it. Led by Manohar, the villagers are disgusted, they're worried about hygiene, and they decide to boycott his business entirely. He's ruined. So here he is, completely broken, all alone, and literally trapped by the very thing he wanted most in the world. And that's when he gets a visit from his past, bringing a lesson he should have learned a long, long time ago. And it gets even worse. In his despair, the magical mustache just takes on a life of its own. It starts growing like crazy, wrapping around him, the furniture. It's like these massive vines consuming his entire house. He is literally being swallowed by his own wish. He's just screaming at a portrait of his late father. Look what happened. All I wanted was a nice mustache. And in that moment of pure desperation, a glowing light comes from the portrait, and his father's spirit actually appears right in front of him. Now, his father doesn't offer some magic fix. Instead, he just reminds Seth Haji of a simple lesson from his childhood, that real happiness, real worth, it doesn't come from looking at other people and wanting what they have. It comes from lovingly accepting who you are and what you've got. And with that, something clicks. The magic starts to fade away, and in its place, a real, much more powerful transformation begins. The very second he internalizes that lesson, the moment he truly, deep down, accepts himself, flaws and all, the light from his father fades. And poof, the entire magical mustache just vanishes. He's back to being plain old Seth G. The next morning, a completely different man walks through that village. He goes right up to Manohar, not with pride, not with shame, but with this quiet confidence. He apologizes and says his self-respect doesn't need a mustache anymore. And seeing that genuine change, Manohar and the whole community, they welcome him back. And really, that's the core of it, isn't it? The story leaves us with a really powerful question to think about. What's your magical mustache? What's that external thing you're chasing, thinking it'll finally bring you respect or validation? Because what this story suggests is that true respect, it's never found out there. It's found the moment you decide to accept yourself exactly as you are.